tariffs. Would you consider, where's that money going to go? Would you consider giving it back to taxpayers while they wait for some of the things that you just talked about to kick in? Is that an option?
Politically, that's a nice thing to do, but you can do that and you can also pay down debt because we're talking about very big numbers.
So which do you like better?
Both, maybe.
That was another interview of Trump saying how he wants to give out a dividend and give a piece of the tariff revenue to the American people. Could be as high as $1,000 to $2,000, hopefully on the higher end there. So Trump is considering a $2,000 tariff dividend for Americans. This is huge. So I'm going to play that full interview. Also, we have a new update when it comes to the tariffs, as there's some big news. Trump just made a brand new announcement.
I'll tell you what, tariffs equal national security. Remember that. Tariffs equal national security. You got to remember that.
I'm going to play that full video clip as well, as this could mean a higher chance to receive that $2,000 tariff rebate check. So I got a lot of important updates for you if you're looking for the tariff rebate checks of up to $2,000. So stay tuned for that. Before I dive into the main content, if you appreciate these tariff, rebate check, and social security updates, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more updates like this. So Trump says government will probably distribute some tariff revenue to Americans. Now, it's important to note that probably is the key word here. He didn't say definitely, but if tariff revenue is as high as projected, I could see us having a high chance of getting it. So to see where we're at when it comes to the tariffs, take a listen to this important announcement that Trump just made about tariffs.
The hot topic of the hour, President Trump will sit down with Chinese President Xi Jinping in South Korea in just 2 weeks as tariff tensions are escalating between the two countries. The president admitting to Maria the 157% tariff is not sustainable. He commented from the White House yesterday. Watch this.
I'm going to see President Xi in 2 weeks. I'm going over to South Korea. They want to discuss the fact that they're paying 157% tariff. It's a little higher than they thought. And we're doing very well. I think we're going to do well in that negotiation. We've done well, as you know, with Japan, with South Korea, with Europe. The European nations got together, we made a deal, and it was all based without the tariffs. You could have never made the deal. I'll tell you what, tariffs equal national security. Remember that. Tariffs equal national security. You got to remember that. And they also equal wealth for our nation.
And tariff revenues are surging. Total revenue for fiscal year 2025 skyrocketing to more than $215 billion. According to the Treasury Department, those numbers just published. This is also ahead of the Supreme Court showdown on November 5th. The court is going to decide if President Trump's tariffs are constitutional. Now, the president may attend the hearing. That would mark the first time a sitting president has witnessed Supreme Court proceedings in person. Maria sat down with the president. She asked him about trade, record-breaking U.S. investment, and whether he has a tariff backup plan should the court rule against him. Watch.
It could be $20 trillion by the end of the first year, my first year.
Investment in America.
Investing in America, $20 trillion. No country's ever done anywhere even near that, like a fraction of that. Biden did less than $1 trillion in 4 years. I did 20 trillion. We're going to do over 17 trillion in 8 months. By the time we end, we could do over 20 trillion. And a big part of that are the tariffs, because they don't want to have to pay the tariffs, because it's so unsustainable that they come and build the pharmaceuticals and the chips and all of the things. They're coming into the United States and they're building them. It's a miracle what's happening.
What is your backup plan should the Supreme Court decision go against you on the tariffs and the emergency
Well, I'll have to figure something out. I don't want to even think about it. We're doing so well to think about it. You know, if that happened, we'd have to pay back money. So if anything would happen with that, that would mean they're allowed to use tariffs and we're not. If they took away, this is national security, if they took away tariffs, then they've taken away our national security.
National security and a lot of income for the federal government. Just in August and September alone, Luke, we collected back-to-back record-breaking revenues. That was just $62.6 billion in 2 months.
Well, what I found Now, as you see there, Trump seems very confident when it comes to these tariffs. Now, what is the deal with these tariffs, and what does this mean for our tariff rebate or tariff dividend check or Trump stimulus checks or whatever you want to call it? What does the tariffs mean for that? Well, let's go over a couple of key points in this article, and then I'll share that other video clip of Trump in an interview talking more about specifically the tariff rebate checks, the dividends. So Trump said that the federal government will probably provide some tariff revenue over the next fairly short period of time to Americans who most economists say bear the majority of the tariff costs. The president then claimed the U.S. has generated $650 billion from tariffs on the European Union, $550 billion from tariffs on Japan, and $350 billion from tariffs on South Korea. However, only about $200 billion in tariff revenue has been reported so far by the government. So I guess there is some outstanding money that potentially could come in, but you don't want to count your chickens before the eggs hatch, or whatever that saying is. So allocation of tariff revenue to taxpayers would likely need to be approved by Congress, the powers of which Trump has tested by canceling, freezing, and repurposing congressionally approved funds. So if it ever does come to it where we collect that $1 or $2 trillion in tariff revenue, and Trump says, hey, I want to give every American a $2,000 check, Congress, get it done. Anyone who votes against that type of bill, whether Republican or Democrat, is definitely going to face some re-election issues coming up in the future and a lot of backlash from their constituents. So if it ever comes to the point where there is a lot of revenue from tariffs and Trump says, hey, give the people their money, and Congress says, no, we're not, the people in charge of not giving you your $2,000 check are definitely going to face a lot of backlash. So we're going to see what happens with that. Take a listen to this other interview with Trump talking about the tariff checks, and we're going to see another perspective, someone who is not for these tariff checks later on in this video. Now, it makes you wonder, someone who doesn't want a free $2,000 may not need that $2,000, right? So you see a lot of politicians, wealthy people saying, no, don't give the American people this extra $2,000, free $2,000 check or $1,000 check, or even as low as $600 check. Those type of people, you got to question why they would not need that type of money. And just because they don't need that type of money doesn't mean that our most vulnerable Americans don't need that type of money. So take a listen to this video clip right here.
President Trump calling on the U.S. an economic power today as he floats putting $200 billion in tariff profits into America's pockets in the form of $2,000 stimulus checks. Here's what he said to me about this topic back in September.
You talk about the hundreds of billions of dollars that have come in because of the tariffs. Would you consider, where's that money going to go? Would you consider giving it back to taxpayers while they wait for some of the things that you just talked about to kick in? Is that an option?
Politically, that's a nice thing to do, but you can do that, and you can also pay down debt, because we're talking about very big numbers.
So which do you like better?
Both, maybe. I mean, I could see both.
With that, we bring in Marcus Lemonis, host of The Fixer on Fox Business, which airs at 8 p.m. on Tuesdays and is available on Fox Nation. Also, the executive chairman of Beyond and the CEO of Camping World. Great to have you with us.
That's a lot of stuff.
Marcus. That's a lot of resume there. Great to see you. Thank you for being here. So what do you think about this idea? Because the president does talk a lot about the amount of money that's coming into the coffers from these tariffs. And there are some pressures on the economy. What do you think of this idea?
Well, I appreciate the administration's idea of recognizing that homeowners and families are struggling right now. And with interest rates being where they're at and mortgage rates being where they're at, we're trying to provide some relief. I think that's ideologically a good idea. Practically, he's a smart business person. And so if we move this over into corporate debt, and we thought about a company that had a lot of debt, it was overly leveraged like this country is, we wouldn't automatically then take any excess cash and issue a dividend. We would pay our debt down. So I appreciate that President Trump understands, yes, people are struggling, but the practical application of it is that we need to pay our debt down.
So, and you heard him say that he would like to do a little bit of both.
I think he would like to, but I think if you look at the leverage of the country and you look at where rates are, the other piece that I worry about, Martha, is if you infuse $2,000, not like we did during COVID where money was just everywhere, but if you infuse $2,000 in homeowners' pockets, money's going to start to flood into the economy, and it could give us a false positive about what the health of the economy is. And if we're pushing to drive interest rates down, we need the data, because we've gotten really bad data on jobs and a variety of other things. We need the data to be clean.
So, this makes me think about the broader picture. When you think about AI and you think about certain jobs going away, and we talk about universal basic income as something that the country might need to provide eventually. Are we getting into a situation where it's not just going to be $2,000, but it might be more than that down the road?
Well, I would hope not. That's what Mandami wants here in New York City, where everybody just makes the same. We still live in a meritocracy where people have to perform and show up and do the right things. I think ultimately what concerns me the most is it's unaffordable to buy a home. It's hard for people to pay their bills. The idea isn't to just pass money out. The idea is, what are the levers that need to be pulled on to free some of that up? Part of it is the interest rates are high, and they're costing Americans a lot of money right now.
So would you recommend a program, if you wanted to get some of this money to people, would it be better to do it for people buying a first home, for example, to give them a little bit of help with that, and that would help to stimulate the housing market a little bit, to make it specific?
I don't know what $2,000 is going to do when you're trying to buy a new home. I mean, you have a down payment of 10 or 20%. I don't know if that's going to do anything. I think there could be some tax credits. There has to be other ways to incentivize people to act, to perform, to do something. If you push all this money into housing, it's actually going to make home prices go up because there's a finite amount of supply and demand would increase pretty considerably. I think right now we just need to see interest rates come down. We had it a year ago when the Fed had this emergency. We got some unemployment data and there was an emergency and we cut the rates. Where's the emergency now?
What are your thoughts there? Do you think we have a chance of getting a tariff dividend check of up to $2,000? If the money starts flowing in from tariff revenue, do you think Americans will get a piece of that? Let me know down in the comments below, and that is all the news that I have today. If you appreciate how I shared with you all the information, the video clips, and give you updates on the tariff rebate checks, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more updates like this. And that is all the news that I have today to hopefully cheer you up a bit. Here's my daughter Belle's tip of the day.
Oh, hi guys, I didn't see you there. Hi guys, this is Belle. Today I wanted to play something what you should really do. You should always be kind, and if you want to do something very happy, then do it. Like today I'm going to be making popsicle, and I'm going to be doing it with you. So what the first step is, get some milk. You can do cow milk or oat milk. There you go. Yeah, and you just have to take these out.
Trump just gave a huge warning that Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid could be gone. What did he mean by that, and how long, and who is it going to affect? I'll give you all that information in this video over here, so click that video now, and I'll see you in that video. Take care, be safe, thank you for watching.